Hey guys, it's Retro Nerd Girl, and I'm broadcasting live from the International Science Fiction Space Station. And I am here to present with you the very last, um, sorry about this, the very last um, episode that we're going to do. Let's see here. There we go. Sorry about that. I'm We're back on. Sorry about that. But we have a really, really interesting show for you because I do have the recording that Mama Bear and I did together. And then I actually have, look who it is, guys. It's Mama Bear.
Hello there.
Hello. We're just going to be hanging out in the background while this plays, but then I am going to get our sort of like a wrap up for all of this to kind of go over some of our favorite characters and things, like reminisce over the show just a little because it does end kind of abruptly, and I thought it deserved a little bit more love, and especially for the parts that we really enjoyed. What are your thoughts on this, like now being our last kind of finale of, I don't know, I would say about 7 months, or it was more than that, right? 8 months
Oh, it
when we
it's been
started.
it this between us starting recording this and then going through all of it, it has been quite a journey. Hey, Grumpy. Um, and I'm having the same kind of mixed reaction about it that what you and I went through filming this.
Yeah. Oh my God. So much. The part that you didn't even have any part to do, because it was behind the scenes, was like the editing part was like, oh my God. I didn't realize how many
It
times I said,
My heart goes out to you with that too because I because you're having to go through all of this all over again.
But
And
what was
majority
really,
of it, fine, but season 3, the fact
yeah,
that you had to go through editing all of this, like season 3, all of it all over again.
yeah.
Oh,
The toughest one
bless your
was the
soul, man.
one from last week. Last week's one was really tough. I was like, "Oh my God, this is really hard." Especially, when it was really, really good, it was fantastic. But when it kind of went to south a little bit, it was just sort of like, oh, it really was like, uh, it was like eating rocks, you know.
Who,
And,
who
yeah.
who's having trouble there? Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you. So I think StreamYard is having some incredible issues. They are changing their prob their um they're changing their format or something. They Before I even started the stream, I had to like read like an incredible document about how to conduct myself on the platform. So
Oh
I don't
wow.
know. And then part of my videos I usually have stacked up, like special things are all kind of like, some of them are there and some of them are missing, or they're there but I can't see them. So it's really odd, and it's really messing up my computer. So if you guys are having problems with audio, or if maybe I'm behind or something, let me know. I will try to make some adjustment on this. I just want to go really quickly though through the
Yeah,
comments to see who's here.
Gary's comment just kind of confused me. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But no, but there is something going on, so I'm not quite sure what to make of it, but we're gonna try to soldier on. Um, Kimberly is here, and so it was really great to see Kimberly. Gary Carpenter is also here. Sergeant Giratana's Rising Renegades is also here. It says, evening, Retro Nerd Girl. Just stopping by to say hello and see how you're doing tonight. Gargoyles is a classic. Always great to go back and watch some great shows that came before what we get today. Yes. And it's really, I was very pleasantly surprised at how good the show was, even for it being a cartoon show. It was mature and it was really entertaining. I and absolutely enjoyed it. At least season 1 and 2 for sure. Let's see what else is in there in the chat. Um, and Grumpy Ollie, you're here, says, cool glasses, retro nerd girl. Thank you. Yes, yes. It's part of like, weird. What's so weird? I've been on here for 8 years, and I finally I was like, wait a minute, red lipstick, red glasses. That goes together. And so,
I actually had red glasses ages ago, and I went
Mhm.
into MAC with the glasses so I can match the shade.
Oh my goodness, that's probably like a good idea. I might have to do that, because mine is a little bit off, but maybe I can get a lipstick that's brighter. I'll keep looking. But yeah, yeah, that was a fun discovery this year. Um, and let's see, anything else? Um, uh, Sergeant says, yeah, I know retro. Last week my friends from DualShock had issues with StreamYard too. I do with a few videos did earlier this month. Yeah, I don't know what's going on, which is really weird because it's been solid, but I think they're changing something and it's really affecting the software because boy did I have trouble just now.
Yeah.
And Kimberly says, I'm here. All right. So right away, I think we should start. We're going to hang out in the chat with you guys as this plays. But this is our last summation of season 3, the finale. And boy, is it our comments are very interesting. All right. I'm going to take us out and
I
put
love you,
the
Grumpy.
video in. Season 3, episode 11 of Gargoyles, guys. Here we
This is
go.
our last round of this. How weird is that?
I know it's been a long time. Actually, if we think about it, it's been half a year.
Mm.
Yeah, we've been having fun with this. And anything that you would like to say to kind of prep us for these 3 episodes?
When it comes to these 3, I will be completely honest. I think one of them was completely throwaway.
Yes.
It served no point to further the story or anything.
Uh-huh.
I don't know if they were trying to do a spin-off, bring up a
Ooh,
spin-off series or something,
yeah. Mhm.
but no.
Yeah.
Honestly, with the exception of the last one, I can't say I was and even to a point with the last one, I can't say I was really happy with any of them.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree 100%. The quality has just it didn't take a nosedive, but it's definitely fallen off. I just am kind of surprised that the ending was kind of like like I was like, "Oh, we're ending right now. Okay."
Yeah.
It was like there was no
But
build
yeah,
up
the
or anything.
quality.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm with you. The quality is like episode 12. I frequently throughout that one. It's so bad. Just how they kept drawing Elisa was bad.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, when we get to it, because there's definitely and I would say 2 different studios that must be doing this because it seems like we get like a regular animated studio that does the animation that looks a lot like what was done in the past, and then there is another animated studio that really gives it like extra expressions on everybody's face. I mean, Elisa's walking like,
Like Catwoman.
like what is she doing? Is that supposed to be a character walking? She was just like, wow, all over the place.
Yeah.
And then moments with Goliath, his face is just presto changeo every few frames. We just could not get it correctly. But we'll start off with this to serve mankind, and we'll prove our points along the way. Goliath has a nice little monologue. All of the monologues from Goliath, I would say, is really good. In this one, he's talking about pride, humility, and the will to persevere. And I thought that was real, like, like those are great. I love it. So it starts off with a tip from Elisa to the clan to look for some possible rogue gargoyles that have been sighted throughout the city. And Goliath wants to get to them before the quarrymen find them. And they end up finding some gargoyles, or what looks to be gargoyles. One of the boys says, "Oh, they have wings," and so they go down there, and the clan falls into a trap. Basically, it was so funny because the younger gargoyles, especially Brooklyn, says, "Oh, maybe they'll
Hopefully
lead
we'll
us to
find some
female."
girl gargoyles. Yeah.
Yes, female gargoyles. I was like,
I
okay.
think they said that just about every episode in this one.
Almost, yeah, almost everyone, which I thought that maybe they would pay off at some point, and it just would have been really kind of cool to do that, you know what I mean? Just for the old school fans. It's actually these guys, and I was trying to figure out, okay, who are these guys? Are they the quarrymen? Who are they? There's just some guys who don't like gargoyles. That
I won't
was
lie, my first thought was Quarryman.
Yeah, I thought it was like, oh, these are the quarrymen. And no, there's no indication as to who these guys are, except for what kind of happens later on in this episode, which is, I will say, this
I'll get
is
there.
this is a strange episode. It's not bad, but strange. So
Yeah.
this is like, yeah, right? Is
As you see them going along the rooftop, my first thought is, why are they walking so much?
Ooh, yes,
Like, if these are
yes,
gargoyles, why are they like running around the corner
yeah.
and not like taking off?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so yeah, they find them inside this weird art studio. It's an elaborate trap that with automated steel trap doors. Let's see.
That should have been my tip
Okay.
off.
So see this image here? We got this very same image in season 3, episode 9, Generations, and this is lazy. This is very
It's not
lazy.
just the same. It's not just the same image. This full animation, it was probably the same clip,
Yeah.
down to the exact same wording.
Yes, yes.
Scratch, 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 2 feet thick. How do
Yep.
you know it's 2 feet thick?
Yeah, yeah. We asked that question the last time. And it was really this is the biggest crime, I would say, for this um that this season has done to such an incredible show as it was in the second season, is to just show you the same clip over. I mean, if there were 1 or 2 clips that were shown over in the past seasons, they were hidden very well.
Yeah.
This is they just took from like Broadway talking, Brooklyn
One of them
scratching at the
trying to
seal.
smash the door, and yeah.
Yeah, and it's
And
just, it's lazy.
lazy. That's a great. That's dead on too. Also, the
Yeah.
fact, why does he keep stopping? Even if you're confident it's 2 feet thick, that does mean you have an ending point.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's just kind of it's disappointing because I
Yeah.
was like, man, these guys were doing so well. All of the great stories from season 2. I'm actually like editing those old ones to catch up for posting, and it's
Mhm.
just so good as I'm like listening to the reviews that we're doing and the deep dives. I'm like, wow, the stories are so good. And then we have this kind of thing. So this isn't a great example of what's happening, the travesty that's happening to the story, just general issues that are plaguing this season. Now they are drugged at this point with a gas that, and then they are separated into different steel pens. Broadway's pen is fills up with water. Lexington has to fight a panther, and Brooklyn endures some torture of heat and extreme heat and
Freezing.
also freezing, yes, temperatures. And
Which
it
was
turns
another
out,
thing that sorry, was another
mhm,
thing that irritated me. While we don't know how they register heat, we have seen they really don't feel the cold.
yeah,
So
they
why the
don't.
heck is he shivering?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yep.
We've
Yep.
seen it multiple times.
Multiple times that they're not affected by the cold as much. I'm sure at some point there has to be an amount, but there was not even a register like, oh, we have to, increase the temperatures. So,
You got to
I
think they
mean, these
were like
guys,
what, Norway
yeah,
in the middle of a blizzard?
yeah. And also
That's
they
cold.
They flew over a volcano, so
Uh-huh.
they can deal with extreme temperatures of heat too. So it's really kind of wild. It turns out that there's a stranger that is controlling all of this, and they don't tell you who it is. At first, I thought, "Oh, is this Castaway?" But Castaway was arrested, so I was like, "Okay." I was trying to figure out who it could have been. Is it the mysterious person who has a bounty out for a live gargoyle? Because we've seen several episodes where
Yeah,
people
we
were
we never
like,
get that answer.
"No, we
You
never
know?
get the answer. We never get the answer." Guess what, guys? We were paying attention. We're looking out for the answer, and you didn't give it to us. This is another reason why the quality has gone down here.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, is it the quarrymen acting on their own? And then I was like, okay, the only other one has to be the Illuminati. But they weren't wearing robes before. So this is like
Okay,
a
yeah,
new
it
thing.
didn't even clue into me at this point that it was Illuminati. And honestly, it should have as soon as that trapdoor and stuff showed up, because
Yes,
we've seen
yes,
them do
yes.
that before.
Yeah, we saw them do that before, but this cloak is like a new thing that they were like, "Oh, let's put them in a cloak."
Yeah,
And I think that threw things off quite a bit. Uh, and we don't even get to know the complete identity of this guy, other
the
than
numbers
maybe
thing is
the
weird too. 5.
chair number 5, yeah,
Yeah.
chair 5, because they have 6 chairs altogether.
Mhm. And
But
everybody has a little Roman numeral on there, like you see here.
yes, right in the center there, that's where you would
Mhm.
know. It turns out that they hope to, and he hopes to learn about the gargoyles' response to survival instinct, primal fear, suppression, and climatic tolerance. And he also has Goliath there hooked up to a machine and able to watch all of this as he kind of touts on and on about somebody by the name of Egon Pax. And
Mhm.
we're like, okay, this is
Maybe,
the
yeah, maybe
third
this
to
is the guy.
last episode, and we're like, if we're introducing a new character, Egon Pax, okay. Um, but let's see what this is all about. I was willing to bite on this one,
Yeah.
um, just to
Like, "Oh, yeah, this
see.
this is all for Egon Pax." Okay, is this the guy that's behind all of this? Behind the
Yes,
you
that
know?
that was yeah, that was my thing. Is like, is this like leading up to a nice little finale? And it would have been really cool if they kind of fell into the tradition of the other episodes of the other seasons where it was sort of like a trilogy ending. It would have tied this
Yeah.
all together a lot nicer, I think. Poor Goliath has to watch his clan go through all of this, and he's being hooked up to all of this weird stuff. Now, the next day, the gargoyles all turn to stone. There's a meeting with the Illuminati, and I still have a question mark because I still didn't know at this point. And they have 6 chairs. Chair 5 is the guy that we saw at the lab, and he is an ammunitions dealer. I also believe he's a doctor as well, with
Yep.
stakes in war. So Peacemaker Egon Pax is their target for assassination. I mean, they did a lot of talk around it. And it really didn't get a feel for it. Very confusing, actually. They didn't really make that super clear. As I was like, okay, Chair 5 also showed a chip that he has formulated that allows him to brainwash victims within hours instead of months as they had done before in the past. So that kind of gives you an idea that this group, brainwashing is a typical thing that they normally do. And we kind of encountered something like that with that hotel where they kind
Yes.
of break down people's mental capacity to resist them. And that's how they learn all sorts of interesting information. Would have been really cool to go into all of that. The target, Egon Pack, is from the nation of Ladvonia, which really doesn't mean anything to us. It doesn't. So yeah, this chip is implanted into Goliath's neck, and it pretty much gets him on board immediately. So he succumbs to the brainwashing just out of exhaustion.
Oh yeah,
But
he lets Goliath think that the 3 of them are dead, and this is all Egon Pax's fault. Egon Pax, Egon Pax, Egon. Shut up.
yeah, I mean, how many times did he say the name Egon Pax? It was like, are you trying to like get me? Like, are you trying to like brainwash me? Because it was really too much. But
Yeah.
I guess I'll allow it for now. My gosh. And then look who shows up. Xanatos finally arrives and confirms that it's the Illuminati, which he's a member of, a low level member, if we remember before in the
Oh,
past.
he's number 3 at this point.
Yeah. Oh, he's number 3?
Well, looking at his chest. That's a 3.
Okay, because I couldn't read it before. Okay, so he's number 3, guys, and he had to find Goliath because before he kills Egon Pax, and so this is extra horrible for the gargoyles because they don't need this kind of publicity. And so, yeah, this is going to be really ugly. I was like, oh no, they're going to ruin all the hard work that they've done in the past of trying to get good human relations with this whole thing. And so, luckily, the boys are able to intercept Goliath, not before Goliath just rips Pax out of the car, and that he's being driven in, and takes him to a rooftop. And then there's this whole thing where he's like fighting
Standoff.
himself, like to try not to kill this poor man because he's fighting the brainwashing.
The cops start shooting up there, and Matt being
I know.
pretty much the only person there with some brain cells. It's not firing. You're going to hit him.
Yeah. I was like, these guys are not that smart, but this is where we've come to the story where the cops have basically declared war on the gargoyles at this point. They're no longer trying to be mindful. They're just shooting. And they're using those laser guns that have become now very popular in this world. Yeah, Goliath breaks free of the brainwashing chips finally. And Pax is
The
really...
guys show up just in time to stop Goliath from doing something dumb, and Pax the entire time he's like, "You don't need to do this, friend." You know,
Yeah.
if not for me, then for yourself. And
Yeah.
the guys show up and they try to stop him. I'm practically shouting at the screen, going, "Will somebody see the glowing red thing on his neck?"
Yeah, remove it immediately, yes. You would have thought, like, Lexington would have caught it, but no.
That was my thought. Like, why doesn't Lex see
Yeah,
it? Like, jump back, try to get him in a chokehold. You're like, "Ooh, red thing."
yeah. I mean, this really was drawn out a lot too, as far as the events that I'm describing really was really not
Yeah,
very long, but they made it last
it
longer
took
by repeating things over and over again, you know what I
this.
mean?
It took so long. Oh my god.
Yeah. Yeah, for him to, like, break the spell of that chip, and,
The entire time
yeah,
you're hearing it over and over again. Egon Pax, destroy
yeah.
Egon Pax.
And I thought maybe, okay, I was like, okay, so this Egon Pax is really, really important. He's going to play a big role. And he doesn't. And this is the last we see
You
of him.
think
He
that
disappears forever.
and even once Goliath breaks free and all things are good, you know, Egon stands there at the edge of the, I don't want to say his full name, sorry, stands at the edge of the building and going, I like no more violence, you
Yeah.
know, taint this night. And as soon as he turns away, what do the cops do? Pew 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 pew
Oh,
pew
yeah.
pew.
They're just
Not
out of
listening.
control. Yeah. Yeah. They've really turned the corner on the respect that, to the gargoyles. Xanatos just flies in and saves the gargoyles again.
Mhm,
So we had that whole episode with Queen Titania.
mhm.
She comes in and she says, "Oh, well, Goliath, you need to stay in New York because you're protecting my grandchild and my daughter."
Yep.
Okay, well, Xanatos has been saving them over and over and over and over again. And
Yeah, and that's the thing. After that whole thing with Titania, we really
yeah,
don't see Fox again or
no,
Alex.
she's gone. Yeah. Yeah, they're gone from the storyline. And the pack, they're all gone. We don't see any of those guys
Yeah,
anymore.
we're okay with the pact being gone.
No more
Yep.
nightmare fuel. And
Yeah, there's nothing that they could have done that would have, like, added or, you know, wrapped
yeah.
things up.
Yeah, yeah. I guess so. Yeah, he saves them again, and chair 5 is actually approached by a shadowy person that says we need to talk. And then that's the end of that character. We never see that character again. We don't know what happened there, and so it's like, why show us that at
Doesn't
all?
and nothing. I don't know if they were planning on having a longer season and they
I
got
think
told to
so.
wrap it up quickly. I'm hoping that's what it was.
I think so. I'm
Because
so glad
there were
you were
so many
able to.
things left hanging.
Oh yeah, yeah. The last thing that they said, Xanatos explained how this is a big blow to the gargoyles' public image, and
Okay.
um, Goliath is like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
basically starting over again, which is
Yeah, I love that.
annoying.
After all the good we've done, we're back to,
Square one.
good. Hey, nobody saw that. You had a couple times where they're on camera,
Yeah,
saving people, and it has not helped your public image at all.
yeah. It's just, um, and that's sad because I know it's supposed to be allegories for stuff, but for this particular story, it needs to be like kind of it doesn't feel like it's resolving. It's like, and they give and they take, and maybe that's good,
Yeah,
but I don't feel satisfied by the story.
no,
But
just in general.
so
This one really didn't. do much to add to it or help wrap things up either.
No, no, no.
New character
I
brought in for no reason. We don't even know who the shadowy guy was that talked to Chair 5.
yeah, yeah. Why, why was that so necessary to be in this episode? Why is Xanatos saving these guys all the time? He's saved them like 3 times already.
Yeah.
And he's already paid his debt like so many times for them saving the baby. Those were some amazing episodes.
Mhm.
And so yeah, it's really disappointing to see an episode like this when there could have been a nice 3 arc, a 3 episode story that could have given a nice arc and everything and tied up everything. You didn't have to also undo the good that Goliath and the other gargoyles had done in the past. Because we do know that the quarrymen are out there. There's some people who like the gargoyles and some people who don't.
I mean,
But
I'm not gonna lie, like, I was right on with Brooklyn. I was hoping it was more females because that is something I really did want to see.
yes,
At the very least, let the guys go on on a journey. We know he's not going to let Brooklyn do that as a second in command,
yeah,
but
yeah. I mean, it felt like we have all of these characters we met in season 2. Could we get some of those guys to interact with these guys in season 3? Like, how season 1, how season 2 incorporated all that stuff from season 1 and kind of, folded it into the story.
it would have
Well,
been
here
nice if
we're
they'd done the same thing.
yeah, we've got all these new characters that don't mean anything. Some, Chair 5, we don't even have a real name. He meets a shadowy guy. We don't know where he's gone to. Like
Yeah,
it just feels so incomplete when you gave us such wonderful, sophisticated stories in the past. And so, yeah.
somebody mentioned that there was Gargoyles comic books
Yes.
that that followed afterwards. I
Mhm.
am going to track those down because I'm
Oh,
hoping that gives me the same thing that happened after the last Avatar: The Last Airbender,
mhm.
because there was a lot of stories that were still left hanging there, while it had a
Yeah.
much more satisfying ending.
Yeah.
There was like a major one that was left hanging, which was what happened to Zuko's mom, and that is
Mm.
explained in the later comics. I'm hoping I get a similar with the Gargoyles comics.
Yeah. It was, I believe, written by the original writer and
Oh,
creator.
even better.
So yeah, that would be cool to kind of check up on that. And yeah, I may have to hunt those down as well, because the season 3 even though
Is
it's like
yeah.
it's kind of cute to see characters, and it's just a facsimile of what really is the true, like, awesome stories that we had before. I mean, Pendragon is somewhere out there. We didn't get a follow up on him. And that's like, and Macbeth totally fell off. Demona, we have had a few episodes with her.
That one was disappointing for me because I really wanted for her arc to come around too.
Yeah, never
Don't
did.
leave her as just a villain because they really started showing her, starting to turn around because of Angela, and
Yeah,
I wanted that so bad.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Something of that, or uh even if she wasn't like a completely all good character, at least like someone who had. I didn't like the fact that she ended up just being kind of,
They pushed her right back knee deep into villain,
yeah, yeah, exactly,
where
exactly,
she was at the very least in that anti-hero stage where she was
yeah,
no longer an enemy to them.
yeah. And she's yeah, no, she's out there still. And they don't address her anymore in
Mhm.
this, and she could have been very useful at the last fight. And how does she feel about the state of the fact that, hey, we talked about this before, that the world is really against gargoyles, and now she has every, right to her opinion about
Yeah,
them being, jerks. And so, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this one is season 3, episode 12. Seeing isn't believing,
watching
and
this wasn't believing. It was unnecessary.
yeah. It was. Goliath's monologue is about trust being broken and tested. I was like, okay, this is gonna be good, you know. First we get this scene in which the helicopter lands on a rooftop. 3 robbers with ski masks rob this place and steal some art and some papers. And Goliath shows up and stops the criminals, but he's the whole time he's a little bit rough with them. He's like throwing them all over
He's
the
not
place.
himself, laughing weird and
Oh, yeah, and he's laughing. He's like, ah,
yeah.
and I'm like, oh my goodness. And the while this is happening, you can tell that you can see the animation is visibly different. The facial expressions are more exaggerated.
Mhm.
Eyes are very much more
Mm.
exaggerated. And I thought this was funny that even the guy who's in the getaway chopper is wearing a ski mask as well. So I was like, what? Okay.
It's a bunch of guys doing like some sort of art theft or whatever. And yeah, he starts throwing them around and
Oh,
laughing while he's doing it. And it took forever for the guy in the chopper to take off.
I know.
I mean, he's sitting there like, I don't know, twiddling his thumbs or whatever, and I'm completely oblivious to what's going on.
Yeah. Goliath pretty much rips it apart. It crashes pretty intense, and he's just laughing his face off. Now, here we can
I'm thinking,
see,
yeah, there goes the art that was inside it. I mean, no chance of rescue. Art
yeah,
fan of me, sorry.
yeah, no, it's like, is the art gonna be okay? Well, at least Elisa and Matt are talking to some of the robbers, and then like they're
This is
assessing what's
exactly
going
like
on.
what you were saying
Yeah,
about the animation being so off. I mean,
yeah,
you just look at the still of Elisa. She's
oh yeah,
look weird,
yeah. Oh, this is
and
just
it's
the
bad in this whole episode.
yeah. And then and just her walking over to where Matt is was so hilarious. She's like,
That Marilyn Monroe, like, really hippie.
but it looks really weird animated.
It
It's like
does.
they didn't really, you know, capture like the sultry walk. It just was so strange.
It was weird.
Yeah.
My hips are dislocated.
Not trying to walk like that. And they actually discussed, how excessive Goliath was and is very out of character. And I was like, you know what? I agree with that. Lisa confronts Goliath with pictures of the actual situation, and he's like, I didn't do this, but she doesn't actually believe him. Unfortunately, she doesn't know what to think about it because
You
it,
look at the picture, it really does look like him.
yeah, he looks like him, and he's exactly supposed to look like him, as
Yeah,
you'll find out later. But Elisa is not sure, and this makes Goliath very, very mad. Like he's like, my word should be everything you
yeah.
need, you know?
Like, she even, like, one of them even tries brainstorming ideas while Savarius is locked up. When did that happen? We missed that part.
Yeah,
So, it's not another clone. They're like, "Oh, Thalog." And I'm thinking, first of all, the
yeah,
coloring is wrong for it to be Thalog, and
yeah,
Thalog's dead.
yes,
Did y'all forget that?
yeah. He's in stone form, stone hibernation, if you
Yeah.
will. which is another situation, but I won't get there. But yeah, so he's just a rip that helicopter apart. And so he leaves. He's like pissed off and he leaves and he goes to talk to Angela about the problem. And Angela is really, giving some good advice. All of a sudden, in the middle of their conversation, Elisa calls in and demands to see him. And she demands to see him alone, which seems completely weird.
I need to see
And
you. Need to see you. Meet me here, pal.
yeah,
They would
yeah,
make a big deal out of her saying pal. It was weird.
it was weird. Yeah. And Angela immediately senses something's wrong. And I was like, well, if you sensed that something was wrong, you should have snuck and followed him like you've done so many other times.
All of them. Hudson would be disappointed.
Yeah. So I was like, of course, Goliath's gonna be Goliath. He's gonna be like, well, Elisa said to meet alone. I was expecting Angela to step up, but she did not. Elisa walks to her car, but it's not there. So she is going to be late, according to. I was like, oh, I guess she's going to be a little late because she's going to meet with Goliath. But
Yeah, she
um,
walks out and just stands there in the police parking lot. Well, somebody stole my car.
yeah,
Somebody stole a car
again,
off the police parking. Turn around, tell somebody.
yeah, in the police station, yes, where
It's
you
not
work.
like you can't find at least one cop.
Yeah, yeah, and just again for the record, her walk to the empty spot is just
Weird.
hilarious. Yeah. So the
This
next,
whole thing, like her walking, like Goliath and Lisa meeting in the alleyway, her whole walk, her mannerisms, her everything is off,
yeah,
and
it's
it doesn't even phase him.
he's like, what? I was like, you know what? I do like Goliath, but they did not understand him that they didn't. There were, I
I
think
didn't
there were
understand
many,
any of them.
yeah, there were a couple people I think they got wrong, but um he I give Goliath a little bit more credit
Mhm.
than to just be a dummy, and he's kind of acting like they kind of made him like a big goofy dummy, and I didn't like that. He's got to be smarter than that in order to survive thousands of years. But Elisa shows up, and it's clearly not Elisa. We know because she's waiting. I was like,
It's
okay,
off.
well, Lisa in the car, she's not late, and she's acting very strange, and she kind of suddenly tosses him around.
Like he's
Re-
nothing, and
yeah,
he's still going, "Lisa, what's gotten into you?" The entire time you've known her, when has she been able to throw you?
yeah.
You know?
And it turns out that it's
Yeah,
really,
Proteus. He is surprised, and I'm like,
yeah, it's really Proteus. And I was like, Proteus from Mount Olympus, for New Olympus, or
yeah,
Is it New Olympus or New Olympia?
I think it's New Olympia.
Okay.
New Olympus
So,
would work better though.
yeah, I like that. So he escaped from New Olympia. And so I was like, okay. So when we last saw him, and he was trying to blow up New Olympia.
Dang
So
city.
did he blow up New Olympia this time? Like what was
I'm
his thing?
guessing not.
I don't know. Like that was his dream. He wanted like as soon as he got out, he could have escaped. No, he wanted to blow up
Yep.
New Olympia. So I was like, okay, I guess he blew it up and
And
now he's
how does this guy keep escaping?
yeah, I don't
You guys
know.
have these like really fantastic cells and all that. How the hell does he keep escaping?
Yeah. He just has a way. Um, and I was like, okay, that also how and why would he bother finding Elisa and Goliath and he didn't really have a problem with Goliath. He had a
Mhm.
problem. If there was a problem he had, it would have been with Taurus, uh, and and he wanted to. And I knew that he wanted to blow up Olympia because he wanted to be free. And now that he's
Yep.
free to do whatever he wants, this is what he chooses. So it just felt like a weird thing for him to go after Goliath and Elisa.
Mhm.
It didn't feel like it made sense. But at this very moment, Elisa is talking to the gargoyles about her missing car, and then they tell her that she just called to meet Goliath, and so she's like, "Uh oh, that wasn't me." And the cops find Elisa's car, and in it is a note written in English. So Proteus learned English, or I didn't
I
realize that
don't know.
the new Olympias.
Happens to
And
have American English.
yeah,
I
so I was like, okay, that's another level. Then he happens to be a Riddler.
Mhm.
He's like, you know what I mean? It's almost like they took a page right out of like Batman, a Batman episode, and they're
Riddler was more clever than these.
and I was like, okay, so he says, beware Manhattan's cows go to meet by 3:30. And Angela actually is the one to figure out that, which I think is appropriate. Angela is that kind
It
of person.
it's interesting that she's picking it up so fast, but also how she knows enough of the city to know exactly where these random locations are, that somebody who's been in the city, like, what, 48 hours?
Yes, 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 yes. So I had that same question about Proteus. How does he know about this location? The entire layout of the city.
Mhm.
How long has he been in New York City? And so, yeah, it's just kind of been like was kind of a weird thing. This guy is from another entire place, and now and he knows expertly where to go. And
Yeah,
so, yeah, that was something, you
and
know.
these aren't places that's covered in your basic tour.
No,
No?
yeah, not at all, not at all. And so they go to the meat processing plant and they find Taurus, and they don't explain why Taurus is there because
Not initially.
yeah, they don't explain why Taurus. I know why he's there, which is to apprehend
Mhm.
Proteus, but they don't explain how he knew to be at that exact location. He's just there. He's
Yes.
just he's just there,
We
and
I can shrug it off to that special tracker communicator thing he
mhm,
has, where he can actually see the footprints because we see him following some footprints that
mhm.
turn into, like, an animal's,
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
like, "Proteus."
yeah. Okay,
No
I'll give him that.
kidding.
Yeah, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. It's just kind of strange that
I
he
do
just
wonder
showed
how
up.
he knew the right city to come to
Yeah, yeah,
and how they both got there.
yeah. Because the only way that they could have gotten there would have been through. He has his flying thing,
Mhm.
but I would suppose Proteus got there by boat. It's just imagining that. Yeah, there's just a lot about that doesn't make sense because
This whole episode.
and
Is like hears something or something. Like, we see that he was off to a corner or side as she's walking past, and in a meat processing plant with a psychopath that wants to kill you, what's the most natural thing to do?
just walk on some.
Climb up 5 stories on a ladder and stand on a rickety walkway right above some giant food processors, right? That's what everyone would do.
That's yeah, that would be my number
That's
one.
exactly what a cop with self-preservation would do.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, this is really a moment to fill time.
Mhm.
it wasn't an
This whole
actual thing
episode
that
was just
meant
filler. Even this,
anything.
not just this moment, the whole episode was just filler,
Yeah, yeah.
you know?
Because she's easily saved, and then there's this. They find a hologram of Proteus's head, and he has another riddle for them. You can find Goliath, and so the question is, why did he make these guys go here? Like, why did they need to go here? There wasn't something that they needed to get or do.
I don't
He
know.
just sent them here.
Just sent them here so they can admire his Wizard of Oz head.
It makes no sense. It's sort of like
Ignore the man behind the curtain.
yeah, exactly. It is very much Wizard of Oz. So,
I just saw it, and it's. I'm sorry, it's killing me.
yeah, I don't understand the clues and the riddles and all of that. I think it's cool as an idea, but if it means that you're gonna get closer to
Yeah.
solving the bigger case, or it means an arc for characters, but this is just sort of bubblegum for the brain. There really isn't much
Yeah.
going on for a real story. And the next clue is through Goliath. Though Goliath is like a beacon to where we're travelers, he cannot save himself.
Mhm.
And they figure out that it must be that he's by a wharf,
Yeah.
which I don't know how, but that's what they came up
Again,
with.
Angela, I know
Yeah,
exactly where he is.
yeah,
How?
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. When he said a beacon to wayward travelers, my thought was a Statue of Liberty.
Me too.
No, it's this random lighthouse on a wharf,
Yeah.
and you know.
Okay. Goliath truly is like at that wharf, and he's all tied up. And
I kind of
Proteus
wanted him
is
to be at
like,
Statue of Liberty, even though they were going to the wharf with like 40 minutes to spare.
yeah. Proteus is bent on having revenge, but I'm like, revenge for I'm still not convinced of the revenge part. But Elisa finds Goliath and frees him, but it's actually Proteus who turns into this monster, which I was like, oh, this is cool. What's he gonna do with that?
You
Nothing.
figured that all of them except for Hudson has experience with this guy. Nobody
Yeah,
set up a code word.
yeah,
If we have, like, literally would have been my first thing before I walked into this building. Okay, let's set up a code word just in case he tries copying one of us. Just
yes,
say, banana
yeah,
or something.
yeah.
She sees
Nobody,
Goliath tied up. Neither of them looked at the other one and go, "How did we first meet?"
yeah,
Something only the two of them would have known.
yeah. It's all right. It's all right. There's just and everything happens so soon. Now it would have been because the first time we deal with Proteus, it's like it was a shocker then, and you're like, oh man, what's gonna happen? And even at the beginning of this episode, it was more impactful. But by now we're like, no, you know, who's gonna turn into Proteus, pretty much.
Yeah.
Um, and
This thing
so
holds as much water as a strainer. Sorry. I did
and
not
so
like
then
this
we have
episode, in
this.
case you can't tell.
So they find they actually find the real Goliath, but then Proteus turns into Elisa, and then Elisa has to fight herself, and nobody knows which one is the real Elisa.
Yeah.
But Goliath asks, "Did you ever doubt me for a second?" And the false Elisa lies and says,
Oh,
"Never."
absolutely. Never
Yeah,
doubted you. Never doubted you. And Goliath's like, "That's the one.
yeah.
That's the Zap."
And
Hey,
Taurus
granted, the real
captures.
Elisa does call him out on that one. Like, you could have picked a little of a less, nicer way to figure out it was me. And he's like, first thing that came to mind.
Yeah.
You just wanted to know.
Yeah. And then they have this. Yeah, that's exactly what you just described, the part for this. But one thing I did like was that at least it does apologize for doubting Goliath. I think it was kind of a cute little moment, even though the art is weird and this is really wild.
Oh my God.
It was kind of a nice moment. I was like, okay, I'll take it. And Hudson is like, if you want to stay like that for
Unless you two want to stay like that for the next 12 hours, I suggest we get moving.
yeah. Because yes. And I was like, oh man, imagine. How do you
Woman
get out of
trapped
that?
by gargoyle statue on the pier.
Oh, I can't get out. Oh man. Yeah, this one was not
Good.
as good. I like the idea of them bringing something back from the previous season as we were asking for, but
If it
they
was
got it.
one earlier in the season, not
Mhm,
the second to last episode,
right.
or it's something that actually went somewhere. Like one of the ones from Japan. I wanted something, a
Oh
continuation from
man,
Japan.
yes,
Something
me
from Japan.
too.
Because there was a lot of gargoyles there. You
Mhm.
had that
Oh
fascinating
man,
Xanatos type character.
yes, I wanted him to come back.
Have him come to New York and a couple of the female, Japanese females follow him. Boom.
Okay,
Nice things can wrap up nicely.
yeah. And also the other thing is that they they did not capture Proteus's um they ca- mm, they did not capture his true fire or his reasoning as it was before. I mean, before he said that he wanted to blow up Mount
Yeah.
Olympia, or sorry, New Olympia. And for I suppose for he just hates them there. And so why would he leave that place without doing that? And so
They
that's
did get him
where
arrested. That I can kind of see. They did get him. They did get him rearrested.
yeah, oh no, they did get him rearrested. Okay. So, but I also like if why didn't he said that he wanted to blow up Mount Olymp
Yep.
I keep calling New Olympia before. Why didn't he, in order for him to be in New York City, he should have done that. That was, anyway, I'm beating a dead
We both are.
a dead
Bad.
the last one. The
Yep.
finale. We shall go to town on this.
Oh yeah.
I did like the very last scene, but I also it was bittersweet because it's
It
like, dang, you guys
no
dropped the
no.
ball.
It wrapped both satisfying and not satisfying at the same time.
Yeah. How do you do that? That's wild.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't
I do like that they gave the gargoyles a happy public image at the end, and
Season 3, episode 13, Angels in the Night. One comment I would like to say about this is that it is absolutely convoluted, this last episode. They threw the kitchen sink in this to try to make this
at least
work out to have the ending it had.
they finally brought in all of the gargoyles in one episode.
Yes.
I mean, literally, the last one, they're fighting something that could turn into a giant monster, and they didn't bring in the others, even though Goliath was missing and in danger.
Yes. So true. Yes, we'll get right into it.
Mhm.
And angels in the night, and
It's Chinese New Year.
it's Chinese New Year, and Goliath's monologue talks about New Year's hopes, and sometimes hope is all we have is kind of his last summation of everything,
Mhm.
and the typical situation, the gargoyles save a lady from being mugged, and this time, instead of laughing like the last time maniacally, she runs away from them. She thinks they're monsters. And
Monsters, stay away from me. Gratitude. My God.
I know, it's like they just saved your life. These guys were gonna do terrible things to you.
Mhm.
And the clan is like discussing like it doesn't matter what we do. These people really, don't like us. We keep trying, and it doesn't seem to be working. And so they're not really feeling it right now. Like just before going home, they it's about to be sunrise,
Yeah.
and so they're like, okay,
We
well, we
hear
gotta.
a little girl trapped in in a construction site
Mhm.
at like what, 5 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah.
This all
And
seems legit.
yeah, that sounds right. That sounds about right. And of course, Goliath is leading the way, and he's like, "Oh, there's somebody down there," and it's like a demolition. It's like totally like a terrible situation here. You don't want to be in this building at all.
Again,
And Admiral Akbar, it's a trap.
what's going through my head? It's gonna, if one
It's
of
a
them
trap.
just turned around and said, "What's your name, little girl?"
Yeah.
the whole thing would have been exposed.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. I had to sneak that in there because I was
I
like,
approve.
this
I,
is
I had that running through my
crazy.
head. Like,
Yeah.
don't go down there. Don't go down there.
As
You can't see what's down there. Don't go down there.
as soon as they said um it sunrise is coming up soon, and I was like, uh-oh.
And it's really dark down there. And we're like, don't go in there.
Yeah.
Just call Lisa. Say, this is what we're going. It's like minutes to sunrise. Please, can you check this out for us?
Right. Exactly. And he has a communique right
Yeah.
there. So yes, and the gargoyles are trapped. Angela and Bronx are actually trying to race over to where they are to try to help. But again, it's so late. There really wouldn't have been anything that they could do anything except for turn into stone. And so sunrise happens, they turn to stone, and the entire place blows up,
Yep.
and it looks like all the gargoyles have died.
And what
And
kills me is there's a camera strapped to the bomb. Nothing came of that.
oh man. Onlooking are the quarrymen. It's this elaborate scheme that they've come up with.
To blow up their boss's building.
Yeah, blow up their boss's building. They call in the explosion and say that gargoyles went into the building with with
The bomb.
something, with a bomb. And how did they know it was a bomb? And that's when we get the reveal that this was John Castaway's building, and the city
Yeah.
plans to prosecute Angela and Bronx for the crime. Mostly Angela for the crime. So, but he, of course, with Bronx there.
Because Castaway shows up with like an obviously doctored tape or something with Goliath's voice on it, saying, "We're going to destroy you all, puny humans.
Yeah, yeah.
We're going to steal your clothes and eat your candy."
Yes, and I was like, "Oh, so Castaway is free? He was in jail. They put him in jail, and so he's free. They don't mention when he was freed or anything. He's just there magically."
Yep.
And he is actually talking to the judge that was in the case we saw earlier with Goliath,
Mhm.
earlier in the season, and she doesn't like the gargoyles, but you get the sense that she wants to be fair. But she's in sort of a position where it's like, oh yeah, those gargoyles are going, they're bad news. And so Elisa is trying to do what she can, but they have already sussed out that she is a what they call a gargoyle supporter or
Sympathizer.
sympathizer. Yeah.
You have no idea.
You don't know how much she sympathizes with them. And Lisa's really upset about the whole thing, but she's doing everything that she can do for Angela and Bronx. They plan to charge Angela with conspiracy and terrorism.
Mhm.
So she goes to Xanatos to see what he can do, or which would be nice if she put in a good word for her brother while she's buddy with Xanatos. Can you help my brother?
Yeah. Can you give Savarius or somebody a shakedown to, I don't know, maybe turn him human again?
Yeah, and
Just a thought.
since we're buddy. And so it turns out that Xanatos was following, and he keeps his eyes out there. He was following this whole thing, had a spy that was working within the ranks of
Mhm.
Castaway's building and added a few extra additions to somebody else's building. I mean,
Yep.
that's some real pull.
Not your
Um,
building to blow up, it's your boss's.
and so what he did was that certain point in time when he took the gargoyles were able to be away from the bomb and safe. So yeah, that was kind of convoluted but weird and okay. So there's
Whole
the
episode.
um Xanatos explains to everyone that they think they're dead now, so maybe they can
Mhm.
just go somewhere where they can be safe. And I'm like, yes. Um, like
Japan?
several
Panama?
episodes back,
Yeah.
maybe like the whole season. And
I mean,
Elisa
the
goes,
infighting's gonna keep going unless you bring in another female or two.
yeah, yeah. And Lisa goes to the judge again, and the judge says that she is assigned. Okay, before this happens, the judge
Mhm.
is talking on the phone with somebody. But who is she talking on the phone with? They don't tell you who. So is there somebody else there? We don't think it's Castaway, or
Mm-mm.
like who could it have been? They don't tell you. They don't tell you. And so Elisa
Yeah.
goes to the judge again, and she says to Lisa that Elisa is assigned to transfer Angela and Bronx upstate to go to a new secured area. And that's about all I can remember from that. But they're going to transfer the gargoyles. The public really hate the gargoyles at this point, to the
Mhm.
point where there's people that are like, yeah, those guys, they got what they deserve by getting blown up. It's really like,
Yeah.
but the boys want to leave. Brooklyn talks about female gargoyles. I wonder if they just, because I'm wondering now, since they're able, they probably just keep taking the same sound bite of
Mhm.
Brooklyn saying he wants females gargoyles and keep on recycling it throughout the story. I'm wondering now. Goliath shuts it down because he wants gargoyles and humans to live in harmony no matter what. Now, what do you think about that with Goliath, like, really pressing that fact that he wants humans and gargoyles to live in peace?
I appreciate his optimism. Sorry. I do appreciate his optimism. Um, at this point, I think it's a little misplaced or unfounded at this point,
Yeah,
because I could see how anyone would feel completely done with this whole scene.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
and I'm sorry, it would
yeah,
take more than just a dream from Titania to change my mind,
yeah, yeah,
especially
that's
when my kid is involved in this mess.
yeah, yeah. And that's the other piece about it was that I'm sorry, that that episode
But it
with
works first time.
Titania, it was fun. It's a fun episode of him turning to human, but it meant really
Nothing.
nothing because this whole time, when was the last time he protected the little boy, that Alexander? When was the last
Mhm.
time he protected Fox? When was the last time Xanatos actually was the one to come through to save these guys again? This is another
Yep.
time that Xanatos has saved everybody's hides. Like you go from like I love the arc for Xanatos
Mhm.
suddenly being, feeling responsible for these guys. But it's just too much. I think it's too much to ask at this point. He's returned the favor enough. The next scene, we get a confirmation that the judge wasn't talking to Castaway because he gets a tip off from one of the local cops
Mhm.
that there is a transfer, and he then has this incredible speech that he gives to the quarrymen to get them, like, you know, I
Yeah.
say that they're out for blood or they're out for stone, if you will. And so this is they're kind of like scary in this form. I was like, okay,
A little bit, yeah.
um,
It was cheesy
yeah,
too, though, at the same time.
yeah, yeah, it was. Yeah. And so on this train, Angela and the judge are all set up, and Angela's there with Bronx. And she's actually still believes that the clan is all dead, but Angela, whispers to her,
Lisa, yeah.
that they're still alive, and so that's kind of good that she's not gonna be upset. That train is full of people. And so the quarrymen just straight up attack this train. And we have the kitty cat too. All right.
Mhm.
So quarrymen attack the train, and the train is full of people. The Manhattan clan show up just in time to combat the quarrymen and help uh, to deal with this
Mhm.
whole thing. I mean, they're really going after this train. And Castaway has totally lost his mind. He goes to the first car where they're controlling everything, and he first blows up a part of a bridge that's miles and miles ahead of the train. And then he is speeding up the train so that way everybody could die on this
Mhm.
train, which is really insane. Also, like, the I don't understand why he thinks this is so important because the gargoyles have wings. They can fly away.
And he didn't know that they had survived.
Yeah.
So he's willing to kill a train full of people
Yeah.
just for 2 gargoyles.
Yeah. Yeah. And it makes absolutely no sense. No sense at all. I don't like when characters don't use common sense.
Mhm.
I could understand going a little crazy or whatever, but gradually get us there. I didn't feel like, especially with Castaway in general, he just is a character that has no purpose other than to be the leader of this group, and and that's it. A name.
Yeah.
And where did he get all his money from? Why does he
He's
own a
just
building?
some wacky random billionaire that
Yeah.
has a hate on for gargoyles. I
I know. And he pays some of those people that are quarrymen are paid. So they
Mhm.
never answered the question why. And there's so many unanswered questions here. We have a good, nice showdown between Goliath and Castaway. He's sort of like
It's a
Goliath is
weird
basically
showdown
says
'cause sorry.
they don't actually fight though. They don't, yeah,
Yeah.
they don't actually fight. It's
He
more
could
like,
really just he could pick him up, wave him around like he's like a limp piece of spaghetti,
yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
nothing.
yeah. And I think at one point he says something like, "What are you gonna do now that I'm here?" or something like that. And what are you gonna do to gargoyles? And
Mhm.
it was like, I don't know, like I could have that could have been a much nicer or a much more incredible dialogue. You have this incredible actor here playing Goliath that can do really incredible monologues. Let him do something like that, and we get the like this weird dialogue between them. It just didn't really feel like, especially with a big character, it didn't feel good, like good enough. I don't
Yeah.
know. Just left me a little bit empty. Goliath is able to collect Castaway and also the operators and take them to one of the other cars. And then he separates the first car
Mhm.
from the other cars, which is slowing down the rate in which the train goes into that chasm. And
Yeah,
so,
a little bit.
yeah, a little bit, right?
It's
And
Brooklyn and his thinking that really saves the day because he
yes,
Castaway equipped these guys with jetpacks.
yes,
You know, ignoring the fact that the gargoyles really don't have the speed to catch up with a speeding train. Hmm. But yeah, Brooklyn like kicks off the quarrymen and tells the other Hudson and Lexington to do the same. And then he's like, yeah, just jam these into the side of the train with the jets pointing. I think he says backwards, but
yeah.
everybody understood what he meant.
Yeah, and so they use it like the propulsion of those jets to counteract against the moving train, and that slows it down just enough, and it's right on the nose,
Yeah.
right off the edge of the ledge.
Mm.
And so yeah, that and they save everybody. And Goliath congratulates everybody in the clan and says, "You, I'm really proud of you." And then the people cheer for the gargoyles, realizing that what they did. Then Goliath has a monologue at the end saying that they have come full circle and a new age has begun just as the sun rises. And he says, and we live again.
Yeah.
The end.
Jeez. Am I wrong? Oh my god. It's a satisfying and not satisfying ending at the
Yeah.
same time.
We want this, but we wanted this with where it feels like it's really earned. I don't feel like it's earned at all.
No.
Yeah, it just didn't feel right. This last episode was so too much happening in the episode where it felt
Yeah, it was rushed.
it was rushed. It felt rushed, and it just felt like, and then this happened, and then this happened, and then this
Yeah.
character did this, but it doesn't feel like it actually meant anything, and
No.
so yeah, sorry,
Oh yeah,
Gargoyle season
Castaway got
3.
arrested again, and
Yeah,
you know, Margot, the DA, judge, whatever, you know, is on camera going, blah, blah, blah. I witnessed it myself. These are, what did she say? Creatures, beings.
yeah,
She starts
first,
saying
yeah,
creatures and corrects herself.
yeah, and yeah,
Yeah.
it yeah,
Yeah.
sorry.
No, that's all that can be said about it.
We had such high hopes for season 3. And I will say there are a couple of really good episodes
Mhm.
that I enjoyed, but there was
Oh,
something special in the season 1 and 2 of Gargoyles, where we explored a lot of magic.
mhm.
We went into a lot of folklore, a lot of incredible storylines, and I really wish we had a little bit of that magic again, like almost literally.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So, well, Mama Bear, it's so great that we did go through this entire season, and the
Entire
entire
series.
series, yeah, the entire
Yeah.
series. But also, you were talking about some comic books that you mentioned.
Someone in the chat, I think it was this week,
Hmm.
mentioned that there was like comic books
Hmm.
that continued the story, and I found that helped after Avatar: The Last Airbender. It
Hmm.
helped clean up a few of those loose threads that needed to be tied up.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that'll do the same.
Yeah.
So we'll have to. I'll have to track that down.
Yeah, yeah. I'm most likely gonna look into it as well because it would be nice to get some answers that didn't appear in this
Yeah,
season.
there was like no answers.
Yeah. And
Not even something as simple as, did Brooklyn get a girlfriend?
I know I wanted him to have a girlfriend. I mean, my
Yeah,
goodness.
I wanted Angela to be his girlfriend because that would have made the most sense, but
Okay, I think
I'm
you're
not
onto
letting it go.
something there. Yeah, I think you're onto something there because I just
As
didn't
his second in
understand.
command, he's not going to be allowed to, go on some sort of like journey to go find a girlfriend.
I know. Ah, so sad. And then remember the one time when he was with Demona?
Mhm. I wouldn't have complained about that at the end of the day.
No, I was like, oh, that's actually kind of cool. But yeah. Well, we're gonna close out of here, and
Yep.
we'll we'll talk again. We'll get together again real soon. Okay, our mics are back.
There we
Hello,
go.
guys. Oh my God, I laughed through the entire thing. It was so hilarious, and wow, 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 wow.
I'm
Yeah.
with you. I couldn't help laughing at myself.
We were like trying to figure this out. Like, oh gosh, that last episode was so hard to get through too. I remember like just editing it was so hard because we were fatigued from that episode. Because after a while, when you're going over something and it has no story, there really wasn't a story, so it was just like, and this thing happened, and this other thing happened, and this other thing happened because that other thing happened. It really was exhausting us, and so
No, I
it was
know.
so wild to see how like both at the end while I was editing that we were both like exhausted from the whole.
I think actually I fell asleep a couple times while we were recording that.
Yeah.
Like I'm watching myself and I'm like, wake
Are you
up.
sleeping?
I know throughout the recording I had nodded off once or twice
Mhm.
or more than that throughout the while we were recording the entire thing, not just this
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah, there were a few days when we were like, I think both of us were just exhausted from life, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think we soldiered on and we did very well, I think. Um and especially the really, really good episodes.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out who that is, Moonbeam. I'm trying to figure out if that's me or her because I'm hearing it too.
Oh, what are you hearing? Are you hearing, like, crackle?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try. What about now?
Seems to be better.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't hear anything on my end, so,
Okay, so yeah, anytime I hear that, I automatically assume it's me, which is the funny part.
yeah, yeah. It's probably me, because the last 2 times it seems to have been happening. It's, like, weird. I have these, uh, these headphones, but they're, like, after, like, 3 or 4 months, they get all weird like that. Okay.
We, as YouTubers, we put headphones through a lot of wear and tear. That's one of the reasons why I started doing a separate microphone and headset.
Mm, mm. Yeah, I might do that. I might do that. It's
Also, I wanted to make sure I had a really good microphone to pick up, my voice better because apparently people like hearing it. So
Yes, yes, and I will be probably approaching you for some
what
stuff
I
in the
have is the
future.
blue snowball.
Oh,
It's the same
okay.
one Sil has.
Yeah. Because I have a white snowball somewhere around here, but it
Yeah.
never. Yeah?
It
That's
actually
what you.
yeah, it's I have the white one because I wanted to also add, just stick on with, like, nano tape or something, little white barriers, just for
Mhm.
the whole sheer visual of it. I've never gotten around to it.
Yeah. I have to figure out how to, like, actually make it really professional. Well, I guess so. I guess this is basically all I have, and Moonbeam is saying that, in retro sounds loud and clear. Excellent, excellent is the word tubers to describe us.
Yes,
Um,
that is actually something I will say to other channels, Sky, a lot.
mhm,
Um, because he's gotten so paranoid about it because
mhm.
he's started off muted enough times. They had a whole show where they were an hour, they were
Yeah.
muted.
Oh, yeah. That's happened to me, and,
Oh, same here.
uh, yeah,
I I
and
I I think it's a right of privilege. They went for the world record of it.
yeah, I mean,
My longest was, sorry, go ahead.
I usually just ask the audience, like, right away, like, "Can you hear
Norm
me?" And usually, like, Keith E., if he's in the audience, he'll tell me if he hears me right away.
and that's
Um,
why I say it's a rite of privilege or a
mhm,
rite of passage at this
mhm,
point. Because for me, it was my longest and most embarrassing. You will not see on my channel anymore. I deleted it like the next day.
okay.
I did a Halloween special episode back when I was doing like poetry and stuff. So
Oh,
I wanted to read out some creepy pastas, and I was
mm,
reading. I don't remember what the other two were, but the one was the Jane the Killer story.
mhm.
And it was like 6 minutes into it, I peek up from the story and I can see the entire chat going, "No sound, no sound," and I'm like, "Oh my god."
No.
I had just hit 300 at that point, and, overnight, I lost 30 viewers, and I think it was just YouTube being YouTube,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it hit me hard.
Oh gosh, yeah,
Like,
I know.
10% of my subscribers were gone overnight.
Oh, no. When that happens, yeah, I mean, basically, especially like you can get, people that know you, like you guys, a lot of the people here today, um, know me. M- Um, Moonbeam, is that fake or is that real?
I can put
Moonbeam.
nearby and double check.
Yeah, so, it's just one of those things, like, you don't have another chance to impress people but once, And so, like, if you get them on and, like, your sound is off, it's like, "No, I didn't
Yeah.
even get a chance." But, my local unfortunately, my local comic book store is moving, but not that far away. But I won't be able to, go hang out in there as much as I usually do, but I got this.
Actually, I do need to get around to tracking those down.
Yeah, okay, so this is, from, Dynamite Comics. This is the first, let's see, I believe this was done in 2002. This is, uh, done by Greg Weisman,
Okay.
uh, and, who's actually the creator, one of the creators of the show, the main creator. He's the one that's really been doing a lot of the interviews, uh, for like talking about the show and all sorts of things, but he's also very much involved in a lot of other shows. Let me just check something really quick because I do have a little information for you guys about him and the show. Let me just see if I can track
Okay.
it down. It's so funny when you're trying to look for something, you're like, where did I put it? Okay. And it seems like my
Oh, yeah,
computer
no,
is extra slow today as well.
it's alright. No, Moonbeam was agreeing with us, it's a rite of passage.
Yeah, yeah. Um, he says not you, just the whole sound when you yeah. Oh,
Jesus.
man. Yeah. And Kimberly, yes, you saw the movie Wolverine and Deadpool?
Yep.
Awesome. Did you see it too, Mama Bear?
Oh, yeah. I didn't see it right away. I finally got around to seeing it on Sunday.
Okay.
So, that was good, like, I the hard part was Thursday. Like, the day it opened, I was
Mhm.
moderating a chat
Ooh.
where they were doing full spoilers, so I'm like, "Okay, I'm just gonna hang out here with my earbuds out." I told them that too.
Oh, man. Yeah. I haven't seen it just yet, but I've already gotten some spoilers, so
Yeah.
hopefully I'll see it eventually, maybe this
That's
week
why
or
I
maybe
wanted to
next
see
week.
it as soon as I possibly could because I didn't want a repeat of Endgame.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
I knew I got the biggest spoiler before I saw Endgame.
Mhm. Yeah. Ah, that because yeah, people get so excited, um, and yeah, I think I know, like, pretty much all the spoilers, in fact, but it's okay. I still wanna see it for myself. But just wanted to get into the now, when they talk about this show, they don't really, if you go to Wikipedia, they just briefly mention Greg,
Mm.
which is kind of, I'm like, well, how come, why, give him a little bit more, give him some flowers. But, yeah, I'll just give you a breakdown of his background, which is very fascinating. Um, it says from there that he is an American writer, producer, and voice actor. He's best known as the creator of the animated series Gargoyles, The Spectacular Spider-Man, and Young Justice. So he's really got a lot going on there, as well as he did the first season of, let's see if I got this right, the first season of Star Wars Rebels as well, which
Okay.
is one of those things that people always talk about Rebels. Um, so let me also see about this comic book situation here. So, which I did put down here. There was a comic book that was released like around the same time of the last the show, like around the end, but it didn't really um get a whole bunch of um it didn't get a lot of it got discontinued,
Yeah.
which is sad.
Later, Gary.
Yeah. And so um the thing is that Greg was not involved with that one. And so Greg is not necessarily the writer of the
Mhm.
series, but he did contribute a lot of um he did work with the writers. And so one of the writers that he did work with that is quite significant to the story is let me see if I can find his name. He was really, really important. Um, of course, when I'm looking for it, I can't find it. I think it's his last name is Reeves. I think Michael Reeves. Am I wrong? Hope I'm not wrong about that.
Give me a second. Gargoyles. Yeah, Michael Reeves.
Michael Reeves. Okay, my brain is working
Yeah,
good today.
there are three that are listed: Greg Weissman, Michael Reeves, and Lydia Marinaro.
Okay, and also I believe his Michael Reeves's wife was also involved, Brain Chandler Reeves as well. Um, and there was also a Steve Perry involved in some of the
Yeah.
developing the first season. And so like this is I love this because a lot of there's if you go on YouTube you'll find it. There's some people who have actually gone to all of the projects that Greg has done and kind of compiled references to Shakespeare. And, and so obviously, like he had a very, big influence on the story, which is like
Okay.
incredible. We
Hold
get,
on.
mhm.
I do want to respond because I know Gary does want to dip out, but he
Oh,
has
okay.
mentioned a couple times about the Goliath Chronicles.
Okay.
I did ask about that. Season 3 was considered the Goliath Chronicles
Yes.
because her and I discussed that behind the scenes.
Yes. Hmm.
Shortly after we started season 3, and if I remember correctly, my exact words were, I hate to ask this, but do you want to review this as well? And she's like, no, this was rebranded the Goliath Chronicles.
Yes. Yeah. And which is really kind of,
Which again is partially because Greg Weissman did just completely dipped off for this season.
yeah, and so like all the writers too, they all everybody got kind of cycled out basically. So
Yeah.
everything changed. Even the animation, as we've pointed out so many times, they really did make some huge changes. But oh my God, look,
Hey,
dude, thank
Goose.
you so much. You are so sweet. Thank you so much. I we really appreciate that. Says MB and RNG, we love it. Thank you so much. I have a little surprise for you as a special thank you. I love that. Love that music. All right. So thank you again, Deuce. I really appreciate that. That's gonna really help the channel. And let's see. And Kimberly was saying that she would have made a good Electra in the movie, and I think so too. I think so
Oh,
too. Yeah, that would be great.
apparently they had thought about reviving it through a movie.
Yes, yes. Okay, so they've been talking for years about a movie, and the latest that I've heard from Greg was, and one of the interviews that he did was that they may not be doing it, but he was
Mm.
also like, I can't speak about it too. So that was kind of, we don't know, but he's been very open about talking to people on YouTube. So if he does, um, if we can, get him on, to talk to us, I will definitely want you to be there, Mom Bear,
No, of
to ask
course.
him some questions about. It wouldn't be about, like his career. It's gonna be about gargoyles because we really want to know about this. Now I had, and I must find that. Um, I must find that. Because somebody sent me a a couple of comments on
Okay.
YouTube saying some interesting things about the show. So let me see if I can track those down.
Oh wow! Apparently, I'm looking up a Screen Rant article on the cancellation of it, and they're even saying that O.J. Simpson even helped kill gargoyles,
Oh
and
gosh.
as his trial was being aired when gargoyles should have been on. Consequently, viewership declined.
Oh.
Well, he actually, there you go. He actually did kill something. I'd
Oh.
say it.
That makes so much sense.
Mm.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, given the competitive landscape of television in the 90s,
Yeah.
the declining ratings combined with rising production costs made it unsustainable for Disney to continue the show, leading to its unfortunate cancellation. I don't
Interesting.
entirely agree with the unfortunate cancellation.
Yeah. I mean, well, I think with it being, canceled so early, they didn't have, I think they forced, because some of the earlier episodes were actually interesting. I don't want to
Yeah.
say that they were the greatest, they were as great as, the first and second season, but they were they were at least coherent. The last couple ones were just like, "What's happening? Proteus is back? What the heck is happening?"
No, but apparently, Disney tried to make a Gargoyles movie in the late 2000s and early 2010s, around the
Oh,
same time the studio made 2010 Sorcerer Apprentice.
okay.
They attempted to make Modern Time reboot in 2011. Uh, I'm looking at this article, sorry.
Oh, no, no, no.
Yeah, they had David Elliott and Paul Lovett from G.I. Joe Rise of Cobra to write the screenplay, and unfortunately that never came to fruition.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna be able to pronounce this person's name
I'll put it in the private chat,
completely.
I could try.
Um, it's
Jordan Peele even put
so,
his nod
yes, I
into
saw that. Mhm.
that would have been fun.
Um, I think his name is uh Jamar Wallen. Jamar Wallen. Okay. So he left some
Good.
really long messages here for me. And this one is kind of long, so let's see if I can read it, but it's got a lot of juicy information in it. Okay. So and this was a note from last week's episodes. So he said a few notes for this week. A lot. Okay, a lot. I have a lot. Before leaving the show, Weissman left the new writers a list of 13 ideas for episodes to the new for the new writers. For the most part, they seem to have done their own thing, but one of his ideas was Goliath on trial, which became And Justice for All. The reason this in is interesting is that we are now that we now have a direct comparison to the Dynamite comics where he got to tell his version of the story. I won't say too much about the comics since you might end up reading it. I feel I might have said too much in my previous comments already, but let's say it's very different. As for the episode, I would argue nothing about the trial made sense. Was anything actually stolen from the store since the clan thwarted the robbery? That makes sense. If so, how could Goliath be charged with theft? How is he considered sentient enough to stand trial to begin with? How come nobody reacted to Goliath offering to aid criminals in the recording? Mostly importantly, how come the case wasn't thrown out after all this? Oh, well, at least we got a better Amy Schumer out of it. And for the other 12 ideas the writers received, they went in such different directions. Weisman asked to have the name taken off the show entirely. Getting rid of the clones was an odd choice. They had one episode to be introduced in the last season, and the very next time they exit the show. It's especially sad since during the future tense, Puck, as Brooklyn mentioned in the Clone Wars, hinting that at something very different. I agree, Thaylog had a neat final line, though. Yes, I mean, yeah, that was just he said a lot there, and I'm right there with him.
Mm.
As for Demona, apart from only getting one episode, which is a crime in itself, her whole alliance with the Quarrymen is bizarre, as you pointed out. Neither side would ever bother wasting words on each other. It's not like her alliance with Xanatos, where both actually got something out of it. It's impossible for both Demona and the Quarrymen hunters to get what they want as their goals. Are direct opposites to each other. I'm not sure she's any closer to redemption, though. Remember, after she showed love for Angela, she followed it up in her next appearance by attempting to genocide all of humanity and put her daughter at risk by doing so. In fact, somebody should have reminded Angela of this when she claimed the clan treated Demona unfairly. And yes, that's absolutely correct. We seem to have amnesia about all the terrible things Demona did. And he says, I don't have much to say about the new hunter since I would argue he isn't even a character, but anything would have been better than nothing. It really bothers me how somehow, as the most advanced, he has the most advanced technology in the series, and he's just left as a giant question mark. So true. When we talked about that, Mama Bear, like that he's like in stealth and he's got all of this cool technology,
Yeah.
and then they just, he doesn't even have a name.
Amazing, absolutely amazing character. One of the few we've actually seen body Goliath.
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
goes nowhere.
Yeah. So it just, yeah, it's so sad. Well, he has a lot more that he goes on with, but I won't read the whole thing. But I thought that it was really interesting what he had to say about the show and the part that Greg had to play in the last season. And as much as he could try to give them some guidance, it looked like it didn't seem to work there. So, yeah. They ignored it completely, and it's just like, no, you're getting some help, so why are you turning away from that? Which is makes no sense, but
Yeah.
that's what they decided.
A lot of season 3 just didn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's like they were putting ideas in a bingo tumbler or something.
Yes,
With
yes.
no connecting threads.
Yeah.
Once they
Yeah.
got past that first couple episodes where they had a consistent storyline going on
Mhm.
for a little too long with the quarrymen
Yeah. Can't stand those guys.
and that whole thing, they just completely tumbled off of, like, left field or something with the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah. It's still, um, kind of shocking. I know that, Greg has, gone on and done a lot more stuff and a lot more development. I was able to take a peek at some of it, and I won't, ruin that for you if you decide you wanna get,
Oh, yeah, I'll
your
track it down eventually.
yeah, it
Research is one of those things I actually do enjoy doing.
yeah, yeah, and it looks like it's really a lot of fun to go and check out, and just to get deeper storyline thing, and
Yeah.
not to mention the artwork is actually pretty beautiful, um,
Well,
and
anything would beat season 3 for artwork.
yeah. No, I mean, actually, I don't mean to offend. Like, if we were watching the show as it started with that animation, I think I'd be okay because that's like, oh, that's the animation for that show. But for it to change like
For
that was really
some of it.
isolated. Yeah, it was
For some
just
of it, and no hate to those who were doing it at Nelvana at the time. That
mm,
is I know where the Nelvana Studios is here in town. And I do know people that eventually did wind up working for Nelvana. I don't think they were working there at the time,
okay.
but there are certain things, like, there are some things, yeah, most of it I could give a pass for, but
Mm.
then you get those moments like that weird look they gave Goliath in the one episode this week, and the completely disjointed hip walking that I'm
Yeah.
like,
I mean, she's
I
like,
did put it in the
wow,
chat. Like,
wow.
I can do a full-on sway with my hips as I walk, Marilyn Monroe style,
Oh my god.
but they
Yes.
still look attached.
Yeah. It's so funny because when you see her walk, it's just like, "What is that?" She's supposed to be walking, is like, "Wow."
Like, if you guys did not, you go back and watch that episode because the way she walks is so jarring. It is you actually do need to see it.
Oh, yeah, that was, episode, 11? Was it? No,
I
12.
think so. That was the one with Proteus.
Yeah, oh, man. That was
Seeing
such a
isn't
bad
believing.
episode too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
it was
it
so
had a
easy to pick that one apart.
well, it also had and really, like, that's the kind of work that I would expect from a, like, Saturday morning cartoon, like, for kids. And it might have been okay just to "Oh, some kids are watching this." That's not what we got for 2 seasons prior.
Yeah.
We got, like, really amazing stuff. We got Macbeth, and who only shows up in 1 episode, I don't I really would have loved sort of like a team up of everybody that has been kind of rocking with the gargoyles showing up and saying, "Hey, we're not gonna let the quarrymen do this," and like actually like a battle between the quarrymen and all of these like really intense, incredible characters. They would mop the floor with them, obviously, but still, it would be great to watch
Oh,
everybody come
don't
in.
sorry, finish up.
Well, everybody come in and support the gargoyles,
Mm,
because that's only would be like a show of like and the labyrinth, the people in the labyrinth, what happened to those guys? They like
screw them. They're underground people. Um, but Moonbeam, don't misunderstand. I do love Nelvin animation. they have done some beautiful stuff, both movies and TV show wise. This wasn't it.
Yeah. But and I appreciate the season for it like being sort of like okay, the last little bit that you just a little bit more. But if as far as getting the
I,
quality right and the
I
story
appreciate the
right,
attention behind it.
yeah, yeah. It just wasn't, up to snuff to the other, and that's because the other 2 seasons were amazing, and, it's okay to be okay, but that's not gonna cut it when you've got, like, 2 seasons that were outstanding,
Yeah.
and, season 2, was j like a behemoth of, like, just amazing stuff over and over and over and over and over again. They proved, and I just can't pull out any or think of any episodes that really sucked from season 2 at all. And season 1 was setting up everything for season 2.
Yeah, no, not really. Like, I can't even say that there were any real that I would classify as throwaway episodes.
No, and what was surprising me all the way through the second episode was how much they went back and they started pulling out little small details, like some guy named Amir. I'm like,
Mm,
who's Amir? Oh, from that one episode.
yeah,
And it's like, oh, okay, he has a whole storyline, a reason why he's there,
like, there
and
wasn't even throwaway characters.
there, yeah, everybody was used, um, and if as much as they possibly could without getting
Mm,
in the way, and like I had really high hopes for Matt Stone, and he turned out to be okay by the end of uh, season
uh,
season 2. I thought they were gonna utilize him,
yeah,
except for just
Matt
be.
Matt was helpful, he was a decent guy by the end of season 2,
I mean, I
and
especially
yeah.
loved his solo kind of storyline and
I
how it
I knew I
involved.
knew you would love his solo stories because they were always that little bit more film noir, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
old Hollywood
yeah.
detective type stories.
Yeah, yeah. They were pretty good, and, especially with, Goliath in there, they had the intrigue, they didn't keep you in suspense forever, but it was enough
Yeah.
um pique your interest, and then they gave you a satisfactory, conclusion, and,
And
characters like
there was
Taylor.
yeah, and there was literally nothing connected in this.
Mm.
Like, in season 3, there was nothing connected. There was like, from
Yeah.
last week, that one I'm sorry, it was a fantastic character. You guys could have wrapped up the whole Quarryman storyline with that one character, make him the whole thing behind it, or at least give us why.
Mhm.
Um, I'm drawing a blank on his name.
Well, John
Thank
Castaway,
you. Why
there's a
he had such
little.
a hate on,
Yeah,
you know?
that was sort of my big thing, and I heard that there's an explanation in the comic books,
Okay.
um, which is great, but I really wanted it from that season, I
Mhm.
wanted to know from the season, and, um, there's also. And I won't say what I heard, but I'll just say that it is in the comics, and they explain things a lot better. But I also want, I think if you're writing a story like this for a series, like the end has to be part of everything that has been developed so
Yes.
far. And
Like, for
even though.
such a major thing, I should
Mhm,
not need to go track down this information. I had no problem tracking down what happened to Zuko's mom because that was like a very side story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But if you gave me something that was integral to the whole point of this, like again using the Last Airbender reference,
Mhm.
like the Avatar Last Airbender reference, if you suddenly made Aang know how to energy bend but didn't show us where he learned it from,
Yeah,
that would have irritated me.
yeah,
Okay? Like, don't give us something that is so centered to the main storyline and not give us the answer behind it.
yeah. It's really insulting to people who are watching, who's spending like we are spending our time to watch this. Don't
Like,
um
you and I were practically, there with a cork board and like lots of string trying to connect things for the first 2 seasons. We had
it
actually
was
joked about doing
great.
that.
It was so great though. It was just wonderful because you saw where all of these like pieces and parts were coming from, and when there were new characters, like when Oberon showed up, we had heard about Oberon for so many
Yes.
episodes, and when
And
Odin
then
showed up, we knew about him because
and we
they
get the whole Titania thing where "Oh yeah, I'm just returning a favor."
yeah,
I would have remembered that face.
yeah, and then
Literally, my words were, "Yes, I would have remembered that skin tone."
yeah.
Um,
And which was really cool because even with Titania, it didn't annoy me because it eventually it was already brought to light like what her part in all of this was, like her reveal was given to us,
yeah.
and they did not leave us hanging. We weren't hanging like still wondering, okay, well, what did Titania mean by this? Or what did Titania, why was she involved in this whole thing? Like,
Yeah,
we
and they
know.
eventually did give it to you.
Yeah, they did.
Puck
And
gave it Puck gave us like 90% of it all in
oh,
one
it was
episode.
beautiful. I was like, yes, that was so good. Yeah, that was one of my favorite episode. Three, was it
Yes.
2 or 3 episodes? Um, The
I think it
Gathering.
was a
Ah,
two-part episode, but yeah, it
yeah.
was
The Gathering was so much fun, especially with Oberon
like, yeah, I had a few nitpicks when it
hugging the
came to,
building.
like, season 1 and season 2, like, what they did to my baby Bronx when they made him into an actual
Oh,
dog. I'm sorry,
yeah.
I will never forgive them for.
What did they make him? They turned him into some, like,
They turned him
lassie
into
or
a
something?
beagle or something
A
like that.
beagle.
Oh my
Like,
god.
he's either, like, a bulldog or a pit
Like
bull.
like like make him like an American bulldog.
Yeah.
They're good size, they have the stockiness like an English
Yeah,
bulldog.
yeah.
Something that looks a little intimidating.
Bronx is so cute, and I didn't mind the 3rd season, the last episode with that was just with Bronx. They got a couple of things wrong with Lexington and stuff like
Yeah.
that irritated me, but I think on the most part it was kind of a cute story, and I would not have minded like that, like as part of like an ongoing story with the character, the little boy kind of coming back. 'Cause I like their relationship, I like their little
Yeah.
relationship, you know? And, Jeffrey, remember Jeffrey?
Mhm.
Hudson's friend?
Yes.
So nice.
I love
I
him.
love first of all, I love that Hudson gets a friend, you
Who
know?
was his voice actor? Did we look I know we looked it up at
Oh,
the
yeah.
time.
I can find out really quickly because I have it.
This is gonna be a race
Mm.
to find out who finds it first.
Ah. I should,
Jeffrey.
um
Gargoyles. Jeffrey Robbins.
We'll probably find it at the same time.
Paul Winfield.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, he wasn't on my list. Oh my goodness, I don't know how he didn't make it on my list.
Like I said, research is one of those things I get a huge kick out of. This is also why I'm such an insufferable know-it-all, because I enjoy research.
Well, it's so funny because I'm looking at all the voice actors right now, and I'm looking at Cagney the cat. It's Frank Welker. It's like, oh man, he does the voice for all the little animals.
Yes.
He's just great. But yeah, there are just so many. We talked about this before, but so many great actors in this series, voice actors, and a lot of them were alums from Star Trek: The Next Generation. They were just fantastic. They almost were able to get Patrick Stewart, but they didn't ask.
No. Our chat is getting a little tired, apparently.
No, you gotta stay with us for another 5 hours.
It is midnight my time, so I can't blame some of
them. All right, guys. You know, the glow of Gargoyles, we will allow it to continue on in rewatches and so on and so forth.
Absolutely. Rewatch season 1 and season 2 endlessly. It was fun. It was absolutely a blast for me rewatching those two, especially after all this time and whatever, so I can actually see how a lot of the stuff connects.
Yeah. And I have to say, you know, this is a fantastic idea. Thank you so much for suggesting it. And
thank you for being pushy about it. I'm not even going to lie on that. When I mentioned it to her and she's like, she was the one that kept reminding me about it.
So are we going to do that thing? But I thought it was an intriguing idea, and I think it's definitely one of those things that I was like, I've never really looked at this show, and just picking it apart the way we did.
Yes.
And seeing so many awesome things in the storyline is just like, wow, it was so gratifying and so, you know, just a wonderful experience. So thank you for introducing me to Gargoyles and getting me passionate about it. And they have a fan, a Gargoyles fan here. And before we go, I do have probably some things to mention, but did you have anything that you wanted to mention? I did watch a video that you recently put up, and I loved it. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh yes, the unboxing. I do hang out with a lot of chats. Mondays, you can find me with the Kingdom of Nerds when Brucifer is actually able to set up the stream. So most Mondays we actually do have a live stream then. Sundays you can always find me with Machini Draws. We've been doing this for 4 years. It'll officially be 4 years this month coming up.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I'm going to bug him to do some sort of little celebration for that. We usually do every year. That's actually where Grumpy comes from too.
Oh wow, cool.
Yeah. But yeah, the unboxing, I got several Funko Pops from various sources. One actually, if you haven't watched it, is a custom Mama Bear one.
I saw that.
Yes. Yes, and one from my daughter. I have a Deadpool and a Dean Winchester kicking around somewhere. Deadpool, I did find Dean his, I don't know, off slaying Jefferson starships or something. I can't find him. But yes, I'm in the process of resetting up my backdrop, getting things
Mhm.
organized.
Mhm.
And I know Grumpy will be on top of me about getting back to drawing. So
Yeah, yes, I miss the drawings on Saturdays that you used
Mhm.
to do,
There is
and
gonna be more story type stuff coming into my channel because
Mhm.
the hands aren't always as cooperative.
Yeah, I hear you.
So
Mhm.
and I know that's a large part of what people really like about my channel anyway, is hearing me talk, ramble on about all sorts of weird stuff.
Yes.
So, I'm gonna find
S
intentional stuff to ramble on about.
Okay. So, yeah, that would be great because we missed your channel,
Yeah.
and it's always great to see, um, everyone, like, have their own channels and stuff and express themselves, and
Yeah.
it's just a nice thing to do, and we will figure out something where we can work together for sure.
Yes, we
Good luck
definitely need to
having
do
and
a
maybe even a watch party or 2. I'm really gonna,
Oh,
uh
absolutely.
so we can converse, behind the scene on that one. And now I'm gonna just tell you guys about what's happening on the channel. This week is really gonna be a wild, wild week because on Friday I have 2 live streams. One is it'll be my birthday on Friday. And so I'm gonna celebrate with us like a chill stream on Friday. And then later on that day, like later in the evening, I'm gonna do a watch party for um, Rebel Moon because yeah, I want to see that director's cut and see how wild it really gets over on Netflix. And then let's see, on Saturday I have a watch party. It will be Swamp Thing, the one that was done in the 80s, I believe is 1982. And that should be a lot of fun. Um, then yeah, that's gonna cover it for the week. Now, before I also go, I don't know if you guys know that I have a music channel. I do. I have a music channel. Let me see if I can pop it in the stream for anyone, for you guys. So here's my music channel. I like up put like new music like once or twice a day whenever I feel like. So that's really great. Grumpy says, "Oh, cool. Happy
Yeah,
prelated.
prelated. I love that word.
Prelated. I've never heard that before. Nice, nice one. Uh, that's cool. Um, and Grumpy mentions 80 something is greater than uh 2000 something. Okay. Yeah, I don't know the 2000 Swamp Thing at all. But the ones, there's 2 in the 80s and both of them I kind of love them. They're guilty pleasures of mine. One with Adrienne Barbeau, and then there's another one with Heather Locklear that was just really campy and silly, and I love it. Um, and oh, did we lose Moonbeam? Good night, Moonbeam. Hope you're gonna have sweet dreams tonight. And yes, and Grumpy says easy to get passionate about such a well put together and thoughtful show. Yes, it was very, very thoughtful. So okay, guys. Well, I think this is gonna be it for us. We're gonna get going, and
Mhm.
I will put the outro in there for the end. But without further ado, everyone, I will see you in my next video. Possibly that will be on Friday. So let me hit the button.
Later.
Retro Nerd Girl, you are clear for takeoff.
In the neon light she stands, retro girl with nerd comments. Memory lane, she takes your hand to the past where good times land. Pixels glow and screens do hum. Hear the beat of retro drum. Geeks unite, oh here we come. Nerdy world where we're from. Retro logo leads the way. In the night to yesterday, all the nerds come out to play. She's the light, won't go away. Film and movies on rewind. Good old days in nerdy mind. Retro nerd girl you will find, guiding us all intertwined. Joystick games and cosmic fights. Wondrous days and sleepless nights. With her everything feels right. Retro glow in neon lights. Cosmic fights, wondrous days and sleepless nights.